What's up, boys? You need some plywood? Guess not. Alright, party people, it's a little bit windy today, but the next project on the van, while I'm awaiting some sound deadening to come in, I need to be able to carry my bikes and my motorcycle inside in the interim before I get this van built out. I got a couple of trips planned, and so I want to be able to keep everything inside, and that way it's I don't have to worry about locking it up in the hitch receiver rack. So what I'm going to do temporarily is I'm going to get a sheet of plywood and kind of cut it around these wheel wells and mount some fork mounts for the bicycle, and then also I need to buy some turnbuckles to mount the motorcycle by the foot peg. So I'm going to head out to Home Depot today and pick up some wood to cut. I think it'll stay fairly stationary if I just cut it pretty tight and just lay it over the fender well. So it'll basically be about, the sheet of plywood is what, 4 foot, so that'll work perfectly. And then let's see, here we have about 68.5 inches of 4x8 sheet of plywood, some turnbuckles, some wood screws, and some rings like this to screw into the plywood, and I think that will get me started as a temporary kind of bike hauler. The distance between the foot pegs and the ground here, just to get an idea about how long these turnbuckles need to be. So we're looking at almost a foot there. Let's see if we get about the same on the other side. That way we'll know if we got the bike balanced. So it needs to be able to, the turnbuckle needs to be able to extend probably to, 12 and a half, 12 and 3/4 inches. It probably doesn't need to be that long because there's going to be some loops, some D-rings at the bottom, and then probably a carabiner to hook the end of the foot peg. But I know what distance I need now, so once I get to the store, I'll just kind of measure it out using the old tape measure here, and then purchase whatever I need. So I'll need two turnbuckles, one on each side of the foot peg, and 2 D-rings to screw down to the plywood, and then also probably 2 carabiners to hook the eye loop part of the turnbuckle to the D-rings. So let's make a trip to one of the mini trips to Home Depot. The Depot. Alright, let's take a few measurements, and then after the measurements I'll actually put you guys in time-lapse mode. But first I've got to move these D-rings here from the van. Pretty easily. Somewhere where I don't move them. Tape measure. So I'm not going to cut the 4 foot. I'm going to leave the whole sheet. So we're talking 4 foot. It'll take it out to about almost a little bit past the wheel well. What I do need to take is a couple of measurements here just to see how square this thing is. I might just leave some relief. Over a little bit. So we're at 68, and I think I can get away with 3/4. Yep, that's going to slide all the way to the front. There we go. 68 3/4, so that's pretty square. And then, and I'm not worried about scratching this stuff up because 53 and a half. 53 and a half. So we Alright, so I did the maths, and I had to get a bigger paper because my maths did not fit on the back of whatever I was working on. So basically I found two measurements. I found the width at the back and then the width at the wheel wells, and then I subtracted those two, and we got 68 3/4 for the back, 53 1/2 at the wheel wells. Subtract those out, you get 15 1/4. Do the math, I just change everything to quarters, so you've got 61 quarters and or 61 fourths, and we're going to divide that by 2. So divide by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by a half, and 61 fourths times a half gives us 61 eighths, and 61 eighths, do the math on that, 8 into 61 gives you 7 5/8. And kids, it's always important to check your work, especially if you're in college or if you're using something that where it really matters. So now I'm going to multiply 7 5/8 by 2 and see if it gives me the correct answer, and that gives me 14 10/8. And if you do the math on that, you get 8 eighths is 1, so you get 15 with 2 eighths left over. 2 eighths is the same thing as 1/4, so you get 15 1/4, which was the original number that we were looking for. Go. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually beef up this plywood here where these mounts go. So I've got some 1x4 that I'm going to cut, and I'm going to put this on top of the 1x4. Okay, so I got the bikes laid out, and I think this will work at least temporarily. Got the one that I'll use the most in the front here, and then my dirt jumper on the side there, and I think it will give me enough room to turn the bars and actually get it out without having to remove the mountain bike. And then I think there's enough room here for the motorcycle. So I've marked the blocks where they go and the holes on the blocks. And what I'm going to do now is just remove everything, because I changed my mind. I'm actually going to use carriage bolts. Alright, so let me jump in here and remove this plywood. pre-drill a few holes for the turnbuckle mount. Now, I'm going to pre-drill some hole for the other screws. Let's see what we got to go through that. Alright, party people, there we go. There is a less than $20 turnbuckle system to hold a motorcycle in, and I think I got it reinforced enough. Time will tell. It helps to have the milk crate up under it, and this one's almost perfect height. So I'll drive around with it a little bit and see how it kind of reacts. But I'm really glad I did this temporarily. Because you can tell from the handlebar height there, it's going to give me a good idea about how high I need to go with the bed. And I can tell you that those handlebars are up too high. So probably what I'll end up doing is using a combination of turnbuckle and fork mount, because that's basically a downhill mountain bike fork, and I think it has a 20mm axle. So I just get one more of the Rocky mount and put it on the floor and have the two turnbuckles, and that should be way more than enough to keep that stable and get that front end down enough to get a bed that'll leave me enough height to actually crawl in it and, you know, roll over or whatever. So there we go. Alright, party people, that'll do it for this video. Give me a big thumbs up if you like the content. If it's the first time to the channel, please subscribe, share the link with your friends. Comment down below if you're doing the same thing here. Let me know some tips. I'll continue to give you updates on this particular build. It's starting to dry out around here, so we will be able to do some mountain bike trips, and I needed to get this finished in order to actually go out and do some rides and feel safe of keeping my bikes inside the van. So that'll do it for this video. You guys know what to do. Until next time, skill up and ride, van up and go.